You're rocking with the best. Thoughts of the week. Let's go.
I'm on a journey, steady focus, cause it's my time. I'm on a journey, steady focus, cause it's my time. I'm on a journey, steady focus, cause it's my time. I'm on a journey, steady focus, cause it's my time. I'm on a journey, steady focus, cause it's my time. I'm on a journey, steady focus, cause it's my time.
What's good, everybody? What's good in the hood? Welcome to Thoughts of the Week podcast. That's Thoughts of the Week podcast. And we are on our final Q&A, our self-defense, self-protection, personal protection Q&A series. I can't remember what number this is as far as the series goes, but we are on podcast number 47. We are 3 shy of the 50th podcast. All right. And with this last question here, it's a very interesting one. And I think it's, as always, like all the questions, my responses, I believe, will be beneficial to you guys. But some of you might have another thought about it. So this last question of the Q&A series for now, like I said, I might do another Q&A series down the road. But the question is, if we don't own a gun and someone is breaking through the front door, what is our best course of action? All right, I'm going to read that one more time before we get into it. If we don't own a gun and someone is breaking through the front door, what is our best course of action? All right, so you guys kick back, whoever, if you're listening to this and working out, get your workout on. If you're driving to work or you're coming home from work or you're going to the store and you listen to this, keep a good ear listening to what I got to say about this particular question. All right. And I'll get back with you guys on the other side. All right. You're listening to Thoughts of the Week. Let's get it. So it says, if we don't own a gun, all right, don't own a gun, and someone is breaking through the front door, what is our best course of action? All right. So what I'll say is, what would be a good idea is to dial 911, right? I would say you should already be coming up with a scenario, with thinking through scenarios with your family. If it's just husband and wife, or your whoever significant other, and no kids involved, whether you got kids or you don't have kids, I suggest that you come up with you sit down and think through scenarios like this, and then start thinking through what can you do. All right. And then when you're going over, let's say for this example, we use this as a scenario. We know me and my girlfriend or my wife don't own a gun. Someone is breaking through the door. What is our best course of action? Now, we should sit down and say, hey, what if we were sitting here and watching TV, right? And all of a sudden, someone just breaks through. You hear somebody banging on the door, and you can kind of tell that it's getting ready to crash in. All right. So what would you do? Or what can we do? What would be our best course of action? And we'll sit down and listen to each other's answers. You say, okay, one person say, well, maybe we should go hide in a room. And then we'll say, well, what would that solve? How would that keep us safe if we just go hide in a room? Maybe we need to hide in a room with a ball bat, right? Lock the doors in the room. And then after we go in the room, we lock the doors. Maybe we need to call 911, tell them, hey, look, somebody's breaking in our house right now. They just kicked the door in. We're in the room and we're prepared to go. Anybody comes to this room, we're just going to go ahead and attack them. We at such and such address, blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry, we can't stay on the phone. Or you can have one person stay on the phone while the other person is ready with the ball bat in case the person comes through the door. All right, could do that. Now you don't know if it's multiple people or it's just one person breaking in, so you got to be prepared for that. And then you can kind of go through scenarios based on that. You can just add on to stuff and say, okay, what can we do? What if it's two people? What if it's three? What if it's four guys? All right, maybe you will close the room door and put some dressers up against the door. All right, put everything we can push up against the door to keep it as secure as possible. And then we're ready in case if they get past that, if they're able to push through that door like that, then our last resort is to start swinging with the ball bat. Meanwhile, both people can push dressers up against the doors, your bed up against the door, maybe a TV, whatever you have to push up against the door, and have a ball bat ready. Or you might want to have, preparing ahead of time, have some weapons already in your room. A knife, a stick, a ball bat, all right, if you don't have a gun. And then use, like I said, push everything up against the door and just have one person on the phone. The other person's ready to attack in case they get past all of that, pushing through the door with all the heavy stuff against it. And there is no 100% guarantee you'll survive it, but maybe you'll survive that. The first person comes through, if it's just one, you're swinging away, all right? And hopefully that'll stop the person from even going further as far as coming to attack you. Now, another thing that could happen is the person who comes in just comes in the immediate area, sees things they want to get, grabs and gets out. All right. And that might be the extent of it. Or they might come in, grab some stuff, decide they want to check the room where you guys are in. Right. But being that everything's pushed against the door, they'll try it a few times and maybe figure, I'm not going to waste my time. It's too much time to try to get in here and just get on out. So different things could happen, but you got to be prepared for all those things. This is how you got to think through stuff. All right. Plan ahead, thinking through. Okay. So that would be my suggestion to that is first think some things through and then go from there. All right. And again, like I said, nothing is 100% guaranteed, but we can always hope for the best, right? All right. So I read that answer. Let me see here. This guy says, don't run. I'm reading still, you guys are watching on the screen. He says, don't run. Do you think they'll let you go? If so, if you have drugs in the house, if you bought stuff on eBay, by all means leave. Likely they want you or a member of your family. Maybe your kid flipped somebody, the bird. Maybe it's now I don't know about all that. If somebody's just from randomly breaking in, and it could be something, that could be very well true what he's saying, what this guy's saying. It could have been some enemy of your kids if you have kids, or your kids might have bragged about what they have. You might have bragged about what you have. You might have went on Facebook, because I know there's people that get on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and they brag about the stuff they have. All right, they brag about these things, and then it's no wonder if somebody happens to see them out in the street and says, "Oh, that'll like the person." They happen to have been the one that watched your video or your live stream or your recorded video or pictures and seen, oh, that's the person that said they had this, and this. So it could be many reasons why a person breaks in. You won't know that until later, maybe, or you never know it. The more important thing is to prepare for something like that. Think through different scenarios and decide on what options you want to take if these scenarios actually come true. All right. Let me see what else he wrote here. And then I'll read a few others and then we're going to move on. I'm not going to stay too stuck on this one question. All right. Take a deep breath and say your address slowly. Okay. Let me add, this is something I forgot. Now, I said that to prepare ahead of time before something like this happens. You also want to add in there to, as part of your plan is for somebody to call. I think I mentioned it earlier. One person's waiting with the ball bat. The other person get on the phone, call, and let them know, hey, if they come through the room, I'm going to put the phone down. I'm going to leave it on. I'm going to try to scream out And that might be a good idea as best you can. If the person comes able to get through your room and in there, somebody needs to start shouting out descriptions. All right. Whether they're white or black, Asian, whatever, they're wearing this, start yelling it out. If you can think, because I know it's going to be real chaotic and hectic, but if you could think as you're hitting somebody, they have on a blue jacket, they're a black male, they're a white male, there's 2 females in here. All right. Yell out the descriptions of the people. All right. And then, like I said, hope for the best. Hopefully, police are in the area already. Or hopefully they get there as quick as possible, and hopefully none of you get hurt. Yeah, that's my advice to anybody, is to go through different scenarios and think through different things. I know it's hard. You might not never have gone through anything, but you can even take situations that you've seen on the news actually happen and then put yourself in those places and say, now, what can I do? What options can I have? What options would I have if this same thing happened to me? And then think through them. And then as you're thinking through them, you might find that, well, hey, I might need to get a gun. Because in this situation, this question, he or she said, what if, or it says we, so it's got to be more than one person. We don't own a gun. So that might be something you want to consider getting before this ever happens, to get a gun. Then your plans might change. Your options might change in that situation. But if you're the type that you just don't want a gun for whatever reason, some people just feel too scared to even own a gun for their own protection. That's cool. So you got to come up with some other options. All right. And my suggestion is you run through these different options and come up with these different scenarios like this one, and then run through options as what you can do. All right. Then after that, I suggest you guys go ahead and actually do a rehearsal of the incident actually happening. So sit down, pretend that you're in bed asleep and it happens. Imagine it happening. Imagine you're sitting in the living room somewhere and this same situation happens, and then just run through what you would do. Actually act everything out as you would actually do it. All right, so that is my suggestion to that question. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so what you guys think about my response to this question? What do you guys think about my response to the question, if we don't own a gun and someone is breaking through the front door, what is our best course of action? All right, what do you guys think about it? Am I on point? Was I on point? Could you guys add something? Did I put too much in it? You guys let me know. You can always email us at thoughtsoftheweekpodcast@gmail.com. That's thoughtsoftheweekpodcast@gmail.com. All right. And so with that being said, I appreciate you guys, those who's listening in on the podcast. Whether you're driving in your car, you might be riding your bike, you might be walking and just going for a walk but listening to the show. You might be working out, you might be sitting in the office, you might be in the kitchen cooking, you might be walking your dog. Wherever you might be listening to the show, I appreciate you guys for definitely listening in. And I'm going to get on out of here, man. I got some other work to do, okay? So, peace.